I'm Great Groove. My history is, like he mentioned, I started with remixes. I live in Huntsville, Alabama, and if you know anything about Alabama or Huntsville, period, it's not a music city. So to get in the music business, you kind of have to make yourself known because nobody's going to come looking for you in a place like that. So what I did, my theory was doing remixes and presenting them to the record labels because that's one sure way that all I need is an acapella. I can do a remix, submit it to them, and if they like it, they buy it. If they don't, oh well, I lost a couple hours worth of my time, no big deal. And even then, I don't consider that losing time because then all I do is strip the acapella off of that song, and now it's an original song that's for sale. So one thing led to another. Kept submitting remixes. You know, I probably submitted maybe 10 to 15 before one actually got placed. But I finally landed one with a Universal Motown recording artist, and you know that paycheck was a $20,000 paycheck. So all of those 15 that didn't get placed completely made up for it with that one track. The reason why I built this was specifically for portability because once upon a time, when we can attest to this, we had to go out to do work. Nobody was going to come here, especially if they don't know you. This area is not the hot spot for music. Some artists like to come here to get away from the hustle and bustle. But for me, starting out, I needed to take my gear between this case and another briefcase which holds this computer. The sole purpose for leaving a short keyboard for me is because it's easy to transport. When I go to a hotel room or in New York or another studio, you want to have your own gear. You don't want to be tracking out in somebody else's gear, especially if you haven't been paid yet. If you're doing something on spec. Spec is when, you know, let's just create and see what happens, and if it works out, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you're tracking your music out in their system, technically, they own it. Because whoever owns the master really owns the song. I mean, that's arguable, and it can be fought in court, but you don't want to go to it. You'd rather have your gear, your laptop, your computer, whatever it may be. You can track out all day long. If we hadn't worked out a deal, the masters won't leave this computer until I got some kind of producer agreement. I'm sorry, got a kick. How's it going, Chuck?
Hey, there you go.
All right.
He's got the magic Great Groove box.
I gotta have it, man. I can't leave home without it.
I'm probably just saying that cause I don't have to buy it. The club owner supply it. Boy, I'm on that fly. I'm probably just saying that cause I don't have to buy. I'm probably just saying that cause I don't have to buy it. I'm probably just saying that cause I don't have to buy it. The club owner supply it. Boy, I'm on that fly. I'm probably just saying that cause I don't have to buy it. The club owner supply it. Boy, I'm on that fly. Saying that cause I don't have to buy it. The club owner supply it. Boy, I'm on that fly. I'm probably just saying that cause I don't have to buy it. The club owner supply it. Boy, I'm on that fly. I'm probably just saying that cause I don't have to buy it. The club owner supply it. Boy, I'm on that fly. I'm probably just saying that cause I don't have to buy it. The club owner supply it. Boy, I'm on that fly. I'm probably just saying that cause
So first thing I would do is import my acapella into my program that I'm going to use. From there, I want to just listen to it and vibe with it. And my next thing is I need to sync this acapella to the grid, to the metronome.
Da 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 da. It's the one and only Digo Double G. Da 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 da. You know I'm mobbing with the D-R-E.
Alright. For those who got my DVD, they know exactly what I'm about to do. But for those who don't, what I want to do is find my hit point. You know, in reading wave files, I'm trying to hold this up as big as possible. Reading wave files, it's all, you know, they're rapping to the beat in this particular situation. one track, you completely go from a nobody to a somebody just like that. I'm the same guy who was submitting music before, but without a track record or without a history, nobody cares. So, but when you have something that you can refer the powers that be to, a song that's on the charts and on the radio, oh, you did that? Okay, well, come on in. I didn't make the rules, that's just how they play it. If you notice, I didn't mention Reason, I didn't mention Fruit. FL Studio, whatever they want to call it, it's still a toy. At the end of the day, yes, you can make beats. You absolutely can make beats with any of those programs. But the difference is, your objective is to make a record and not a beat. And it's so much more goes into making a record beyond that initial making this loop go over and over again, no matter what genre of music you're producing. Record companies want to make sure you can deliver a record, not a beat. And the external mixer, the external mixer, this one is relatively inexpensive compared to back in the day, you know, big mixing boards with a lot of knobs. This has everything you would need to get something from the analog world into the computer. Inputs and outputs, if you wanted a bass player or a horn, plug it up to this, they go from the outside world, microphone, whatever, into the computer. So now it goes from analog to digital, and now you can manipulate it in the digital world. Now, that's always important. Sound selection, sound selection, sound selection. Can't stress that enough. Pick the sounds that go with the style of music that you're working on. I'm going to start off with just a simple, we'll mute everything else, and I'm going to start off with my clap pattern, because that's something pretty standard to go by, and I can build around that. I want something to build around. So normally I'm going to do that on the 2 and 4. Clap is always going to be a standard. 2, 3, 4, clap. So there we go. Let's open that up a little more. Can truncate this down a little bit. There we go. Let's find my 2 and 4 pattern. Copy and pasting. Okay. Everybody knows, if you've seen the first DVD, you know I like to kind of mix as I go along, or at least get somewhat of a feel of how it's going to be. So I'm going to add a little compression on there first. Dynamics. Turn the compressor on, cut my gain up. Yeah. Got our intro. That was a 4-bar intro. Building up. Now we're going into the first chorus. So that 8 bars, break it down right here. But since then, you know, I went on to work with Chris Brown, Nelly, 2 different remixes for Nelly, total of 4 different songs placed for Nelly, because in one case they bought 2 remixes on one song and 2 on another one. So it was, you know, those were good paydays. And Blood Out Gang, a rock group, signed with Interscope Records, which was also a remix. And I encourage the remixes simply because, for more reasons than one, it can sharpen your skills for the production. When it comes time to doing production for artists, everything that you're going to learn in doing remixes, you can apply it to original songs and productions, because you have you're creating the full song and not just the beat, not just the music. When you have somebody else's acapella, you have the complete creative control to paint the empty canvas and make it what you want to be.